Hi, are you a group of people where you need a motivational speaker, someone that can actually inspire and give you confidence? Our minds either lead us to success or hold us back from having success in our life. And by success, I don't just mean working and career success. I mean success in relationships with other people, success in your marriage, success in whatever you want to pursue, success in study, for example. You may want to go to university, but your mind will hold you back because you do not think maybe you're smart enough or you cannot cope with the work. And this is where I come in. I've got a master's degree, which I got in 2013 as a Career and Guidance Counsellor. When I finished school, I finished at year 10. I'd been working in office administration, banks, retail, hospitality, and I was very, very good at what I did. I always got offered a permanent job from those experiences. However, what held me back from getting my degree as a teacher, which is what I always wanted to do, was the fact that I did not quite believe I could. I didn't think I was smart enough, and yet I'd come from this highly academic family for generations. All my family, including, my brother's has a PhD in mathematics, he's a doctor of maths. My sister's got her master's. My other brother's a multimillionaire, CEO of CEOs in overseas in an international company. My other brother owns his own business, and when I visited him recently, I couldn't get over just incredibly how well he had done for himself. I was absolutely blown away because I didn't know how successful he was. We hadn't seen each other for many years just because of distance and my life and affordability, etc. One thing in my life that I've discovered is that, for example, in my case, I left school after year 10 because I was being bullied so badly. It was a private boarding school my parents had sent me to. And in those days, you have to understand, I was 15, racism was rife. And despite the fact that I'm European, despite the fact that I come from a highly educated family, I happen to be dark-skinned. And so I was bullied a lot by a couple of girls, and they made my life miserable. I can tell you some stories that... when I look back now, I think how terrible. No wonder I had no confidence when I was a young girl. However, I never really thought I could go to university, and I really wanted to be a teacher. I'd been teaching my dolls since I was a little tiny tot, and it had always been my dream. And I remember when I was leaving school at year 10, my English teacher saying to me, "You're not leaving, are you? I mean, you could be a journalist. You're so amazing at your, writing and speaking and drama and all this sort of thing." And I said, "No, I am leaving." I never told him the reason why. And what happened to me was that 2 children later, I must have been about 21, one of my mother's friends visited, and he came to my mother's place, and we were sitting having a chat. Now, his name was Kevin Wong, and he passed away quite early. He was married to a lovely lady called Wanda, who was close friends in Papua New Guinea of my parents. And I'll always remember he was the first person that inspired me to follow my dreams, and that, yes, I could indeed be a teacher. And what I actually said to him was, when he said, "What would you like to do, Jayne?" And I said, "Well, Kevin, I would have liked to have been a teacher, but I don't think I'm smart enough." And he said, "So why don't you think you're smart enough, Jayne?" And I said, "Well, I didn't do very well, I finished grade 10, I got a B for maths and that, but, I never got my 11 and 12, and I don't know if I could cope in university level work." And he said, "Don't be ridiculous, Jayne, it's all new work. Can you read and write?" And I went, "Yes, really well." And he said, "Well, that's all you need. It'll all be new information. You read it, you do the assignments, you can write really well, and bingo, you can become a teacher." Do you know, if it wasn't for Kevin, I'd be still stuck in that rut. And often I find that people just need a mentor. They just need someone who can motivate them. And that's where I come in. I have been able all my life in the adult education industry, for example, to motivate people who are unemployed, who felt like they could never get a job. I remember one lady in particular, and when I ran the courses, so they went on for 6 weeks, and I taught all the office administration subjects in the traineeships because my background was huge in business prior to becoming a teacher. I didn't actually, get my degree till I was 30. And so my first degree. And so I remember when we were doing her CV and I was helping her on the computer, and she said, well, Jayne, I've had no experience. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I'm 45 years old. She said, I was with my husband for 25 years and I was living on a farm. And I said, okay, so what sort of things did you do for your husband for part of the farming? And she said, oh, well, I kept the books, I guess. And I said, oh, great, okay. And so did that mean you did the tax and the superannuation, and you did the, you handed out the wages, and yeah, I did all that. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, that's something you can put on your CV as experience. So because it was unpaid, that really doesn't matter. And then I said to her, so did you ever run things like in the community, I know in farming company? Oh yeah, we used to put functions on, and she told me all about how she'd done all the catering for it and how she'd organised all the, where they're going to sit and the tables, etc. This was, again, something she could put on her CV. Do you know, in the year 2000 I had a car accident, and she came running up to me. And she said, oh my goodness, what happened to you? And we were chatting, and she said to me, you know what happened to me in my life? I said, no. She said, well, straight after I saw you, she said, remember I told you that I just got a job with the Department of Primary Industries working in their office? And I said, yeah. She said, 3 days a week. And I said, that's right. And she said, well, those 3 days a week turned to full time in a very short space of time. And then guess what, Jayne? I'm working at USQ. I became their international. I worked in an international kind of supervising role. And they flew me to Singapore to try and, discuss getting clients and students to go to the university. I was so proud of her. And she said, you changed my life, Jayne. And, that's something for many years people have told me, that I've changed their life. And I think probably because I've had my own trials in life, and at times my childhood was a little bit turbulent. You learn from those experiences, and I guess I've always had this compassion, empathy, and a desire for people to do well in life. And the reason I got that desire is because I myself was one of those people. I lacked confidence. I never lacked drive, and with a desire to spend the rest of my life helping others become confident, and to heal their mind, and to heal their anxiety, and to lead them to a more fulfilled life where each day is a pleasure to be on this earth, rather than constantly having angst and having barriers and having fears and never moving forward because one doesn't believe in their abilities and themselves. So please do call me, and I'd like to help you with all that experience to also find yourself in your life.